Hey guys, welcome back to Pop Culture with Pat. So today we are talking about Halloween Kills. I'll give you guys a heads up, this is going to be a non-spoiler review. I know the film literally just came out last night. I got a chance to see it in the theater, but I know a lot of people are going to be going to see it, tonight, and then, just hit like Peacock like last night as well. So I know a lot of you guys still haven't had a chance to see it though, so this is going to be a non-spoiler review, so you don't have to worry about that. But without further ado, let's go ahead and talk Halloween Kills.
Coming for you, Michael.
So as far as the plot goes for the film, all I'm going to say as far as like that goes is that Michael Myers is on the loose again in Haddonfield. A lot of people die. Halloween kills. More the night he came home. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, that's all you really need to know as far as like the film goes. But yeah, like I said, I'm not going to go into any spoilers. We'll start off with things that I liked about the film, and then at the end, I'll give you some of my, my negatives as far as like the film goes. So, first thing for me is that, I like that this is, it's a continuation right from, it literally picks up right where 2018 like leaves off. So it takes place on the exact same night. And, that connectivity, I didn't get a chance to yesterday, like before I saw the film, like watch both of them back to back, but that's definitely something that I want to do. But from what I remember watching from that, from the 18 film, you can see this picks up like right where it left off. So I feel that'll definitely make a really good viewing experience watching those two, back to back and seeing how they connect even more. I also really like that you get to see a little bit more of, certain characters that were in 2018 that we maybe didn't get as much time with, or some characters that we actually didn't really see, at all in the 2018 film, and you get to kind of see, a little bit what they were up to while everything was kind of going on. And there's actually even some characters that actually, for me, in my opinion, they redeemed themselves from the 2018 film. So that was something that was really nice too, because there was, certain things that I was like, yeah, this character kind of like sucks. I hope they die, and they managed to like redeem themselves for me. Now, one of my favorite aspects of the film is definitely how it explores like the mob mentality aspect. And, we saw this advertised like in the trailers and stuff like that. And, it was just one of my favorite things because you had, this event, this tragedy that happened over, 40 years ago on Halloween night, in the original film. And, it shook this, this small town. It, really affected a lot of the, the people in there. And we get to kind of see like the residuals of that, with certain like characters. And, now that Michael Myers is back, you can see that the people of this town, they're fed up. They're not going to just sit back and let this happen again. And so you have, the town of Haddonfield versus Michael Myers in this film. And I thought that was, really, really cool because I feel like we haven't really seen that explored in any of the other Halloween films. Like, granted, I would say like Halloween 4 might be the closest, thing to that, where we had the hillbillies, going after Michael Myers with like the trucks and stuff like that, but definitely not to this level, because when Michael Myers returns and the rest of the town kind of like sees him, it sends like the town into chaos, and you just see like what people are willing to do to to take down like Michael Myers, to try and stop him, and how these people are putting themselves in danger because yes, like it's it's like, oh yeah, you want to stop like Michael Myers, but this isn't just like any ordinary like serial killer or anything like that. This is he's a monster. It's Michael Myers. And so, yeah, it's definitely kind of dumb, and it has its consequences as far as like that goes. But I just think how they handled that whole subject, I don't know, to me, it was really fascinating for me. As far as the overall atmosphere in the film goes, because this is always important, to me as far as like the Halloween movies go, I actually thought that this had, it felt a little bit more like an actual like Halloween night versus 2018. And while it's not quite up there as far as, like the atmosphere that Halloween 4 has, because that's like one of my favorite entries in the franchise, and just like the way they captured the fall field there was amazing. For me, it's not quite there, but it definitely has some really, really cool moments. And, you feel like this is Halloween night. You see like, the trick-or-treaters and stuff like that. And man, like I said, not going to be any spoilers, but you guys, from the trailer, there's a flashback sequence. We've heard this, talked about. All I will say about the flashback, sequence, or at least like the main one, is that holy shit. You know, we go back to 1978, and for me and like the couple people that were in my group, it felt like this was literally, like this could have taken place in 1978. I thought they did a great job with how everything was set up, and just, you know, they captured that vibe from the original movie. So that's all I'll say as far as the flashback goes, because there's definitely stuff in there that is, you know, like spoilers, so I want you guys to experience that for yourselves. But that was probably one of my favorite parts of, you know, of like the whole film. So as far as we'll, you know, talk about Michael Myers and the kills in this movie goes, because, you know, obviously the movie's called Halloween Kills, so we got to talk about that. So as far as those two things go, despite, you know, because there's definitely going to be, and I've already seen, you know, some people, how they feel, you know, about certain parts of other aspects of the film. Despite that, as far as Michael Myers goes and James Jude Courtney's portrayal of the Shape, you know, in this film in 2018, and I'm sure what we'll get in Halloween Ends, once again, you know, he is absolutely amazing in this film, and I feel like that's going to be something that's pretty, you know, across the board. Everyone's going to kind of feel this way. Despite how you feel about the rest of the film, I think you guys at the very least will really like James Jude Courtney's, you know, performance in this film. Probably the most brutal that we've ever seen, you know, Michael Myers in the franchise as a whole, you know, up to this point. And just like, you know, the mannerisms and things like that, he is freaking awesome. He knocks it out of the park. And I can't wait to talk to James about this film, you know, a little bit, you know, talk about like spoilers and stuff like that, because it's definitely going to be a lot of fun. And as far as the, you know, the kills go themselves, so yeah, there's a reason why this movie is called Halloween Kills, because you're going to get a lot of them. Like, I'm pretty sure this is by far the most kills in any of the other Halloween movies, you know, up to this point. And they are, you know, very brutal. There's like some moments where, you know, like Michael Myers, he is just like straight up like mean, where, you know, a person, you know, they're going to die. They're going to bleed out or whatever. And it's just like, nope, that is not enough. And Michael just keeps going. So yeah, if you're excited as far as like the kills aspects go, you know, of this movie, I don't think you're going to be let down as far as like that goes, like at all. And there is one particular kill like in this movie that actually, you know, reminded me, and we had that in 18 like too. There was like a moment where it reminded me of like old school like Michael Myers, you know, where he kind of does like theatrics with, you know, one of, you know, like certain like victims, and you know, sets them up for someone else to find. So I really appreciated that. You know, it's always nice to kind of see that throwback to, you know, like the older, you know, Michael Myers. But make no mistake, that there's pretty much like one moment like that I can remember like off the top of my head, but for the most part, this is definitely a more brutal Myers than what you guys are, you know, probably used to as far as like the, you know, the original like earlier films like go. And I know I've actually seen some people, you know, saying that there's, you know, no tension in this film at all, and the violence is just there, you know, to be there for violence sake. And you know what? I actually have to disagree with that. And, you know, it's just my opinion. You know, you guys could think whatever you want. But as far as like that, you know, that goes, I actually think that because Michael is so brutal, personally for myself, there was like certain scenes, and especially more of like the characters that are, you know, kind of like the main characters of like, you know, like the series and the film, when, you know, shit is going down, I was actually kind of like nervous, more so because you felt bad about like what Michael Myers was going to do, you know, to these characters if he, you know, if he caught up with them. Just because when, like I said, when he kills someone, it's not something like, you know, like really quick and easy and you're dead. No, like he fucking goes to like town on these characters. So you actually felt, you know, pretty damn bad, or at least I did. So there were certain scenes where I was actually like on the edge of my seat, because I was like, oh shit, like what? I didn't know what to expect, what Michael Myers was going to do, you know, as far as like, you know, killing these characters off. And as far as performances go, you know, it's not really a spoiler. I will just, as far as like Jamie Lee Curtis, she's definitely, I will just give you guys a heads up, she's definitely not in the film as much, but I kind of knew that the way they were setting it up, like in the trailer, you know, her being like in the hospital and stuff like that goes. It definitely, this movie focuses more on the rest of the town of like Haddonfield itself, and, you know, some of the other characters, you know, Judy Greer, Annie Matichak, and things like that. So you don't get as much Jamie Lee Curtis, so just a heads up as far as like that goes. She is definitely like in the film, don't get me wrong. And as far as like standout performances or standout performance for me, I would say, definitely like Andi Matichak. I thought she did a great job, this time around as well. I really felt for that character, and that you can see that she was, fed up with this whole, situation too, because, he killed her dad, almost like killed her, her grandmother like as well. And, she just wasn't having like this shit. Now, granted, it's probably not, not the smartest thing to go after Michael Myers, like I mentioned earlier. But her performance in this film was definitely, for me, like a standout for sure. Now, as far as the negatives go, because this isn't, a perfect film by any means, there is definitely a couple things that I'm like, like that, those definitely could have been like left out or, edited out or whatever. But one of them is the editing in the film. So there's definitely certain aspects or certain scenes here, transitions I should say, where sometimes I almost felt like a scene would end and it would just like, or it would just like end abruptly and just like transition to like something else, and you're just like kind of like, wait, like what? Like we were just like here, now we're like this, and I don't know, to like, it wasn't throughout the whole film, but there was definitely moments where I was like, that was a little awkward as far as like, like that goes. And there was definitely, as far as, like the dialogue goes with, some like certain characters, there was some like dialogue that I'm like, yeah, you guys probably could have had some better dialogue as far as like that goes, like overall in the film. So some of that I think could have been like improved, a little bit. The writing overall probably could have been like improved like a little bit like as well. And just, as far as like the comedy aspect goes, so I don't think there was like quite as much as like with 18, where there was some moments where that, it kind of took you out of the film. With Halloween Kills, there is some comedy. I feel like not as bad as 2018, but there is definitely some moments where it's like, there's like a really serious scene or, something like should be a little bit more like sad or dramatic, and there is like some comedy mixed in there, and I'm like, oh, I really wish you guys would have left that out because it would have made the scene hit a little bit harder for me. So yeah, definitely the comedy, it is like still in there, but I don't think quite as much as like, 2018. Overall though, despite having a few bumps in the film, Halloween Kills delivers the most brutal entry into the franchise yet, and I think that it will definitely satisfy fans of, Michael Myers overall. So as far as like a score goes, I'm going to give this an 8.3 out of 10. It was definitely something I'm glad that if you guys get a chance and you feel comfortable, it was something that I'm glad that I, checked this out in the theater with a group of friends. And I actually had one of, the members of our group, they weren't, they had seen like the original film, and I maybe like one or two, but they're not like a hardcore like Halloween fan like myself. And, so I had asked them what they thought about the film, and they actually really enjoyed it as well. So pretty much like the overall consensus with our group, we all really enjoyed this. I think that, if you guys, big fans of Michael Myers, James Jude Courtney, like I said, gives another great performance here as Michael Myers. The kills, you're going to get plenty of those. And just, overall, it was just a really, really fun experience. And yeah, it's definitely something that I'll be picking up, and I can't wait to, to check out again. But I want to hear what your guys' thoughts are overall in the film. Again, if try to avoid using spoilers, at least, initially for, when this like comes out, so that way everyone can get a chance to, to see it. I'm possibly going to do like a spoiler review of this film like as well. Let me know if you guys would be interested in that. Let me know down below in the comments. But yeah, I want to hear your thoughts on the film overall. So let me know about that. Let me know if you want me to do like a spoiler review for the film. And again, if you guys are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button as well as the bell button next to it. That way you get notifications for all my new videos. Give this video a thumbs up and keep an eye out, because like I said, I'm going to be having James Jude Courtney back on the show in a little bit. We're going to talk about like the film, break it down, talk all kinds of spoilers. So make sure if you aren't subscribed, do that. So that way, you see that when that comes up, in a little bit. And as always, guys, please make sure to check back for more Pop Culture with Pat.